The baby girl was born with the brain at the back of her head, and it was confirmed that she could not laugh, but the current image makes everyone shocked. After 4 years of waiting for a baby, Catherine Donlon, 43 years old, and her husband Mark, 49 years old, from Lancashire, England, successfully became pregnant in 2015. However, when they went to the antenatal clinic, they received was informed of lighting. It was a 4-week-old baby in Catherine's womb with encephalocele. Encephalocele is a birth defect where the baby's skull is not fully developed or the patient's tube does not close completely during pregnancy. So the skull leaves some of the brain and surrounding tissues on the outside of the skull. This disease is extremely rare, and the patient's chance of survival is very low. The doctor suggested that the Donlon couple have an abortion and confirmed that the baby would either die in the womb or it could be born. It wouldn't last for a few days. Despite this advice, the couple decided to keep their pregnancy and spend the whole 8 months worrying and trying to expect a miracle. On February 15th, 2015, little Alana was born by caesarean section, weighing 3.6 kilograms. When looking at a little girl, everyone is saddened because most of her brain is out of place, located at the back of her head. The first time I met her, I found it strange. To me, she was so beautiful, as an angel. It was just that there was a little obstacle behind her head that prevented her from moving her body on her own, Catherine recalls. Because of this strange disease, Alana's brain is located at the bottom of her neck, not at the skull like everyone else. However, Alana was still able to survive safely for a while, longer than the doctor expected. So, sometime later, she was taken to the operating table to put the brain tissues into the skull. The 7-hour surgery was a miracle success. Alana is alive, but the little angel's war is not over yet. Because of the effects of surgery, Alana was diagnosed with premature paralysis. Brain function cannot develop like a normal person and will need someone to take care of her for the rest of her life. As a child, she had frequent seizures and sometimes hurt herself. However, little Alana is still the happiness of the whole family. Even though she cannot walk or sit on her own, she perseveres and already knows to crawl and turn around. Now, at the age of 6, Alana has a much smaller body than her peers. For her family, it's a miracle that Alana is still alive. Sharing about their little daughter, the Donlon couple said that now the family is used to taking turns taking care of Alana. With the devoted nurturing of her family, Alana is growing better and better. She goes to school for special children and loves the school and friends. The Donlon family believes that with the future medical developments, Alana can be cured and will may have to face bracelets for the rest of her life. She has some struggles, but she's positive, optimistic, and happy. Alana is a miracle, and we love her dearly and will never give up hope for a bright future than her mother shocked to share. What is encephalocele? An encephalocele, pronounced encephalocele, is a birth defect that affects the brain. It occurs early in a woman's pregnancy when a part of the baby's skull does not close to the way. Part of the baby's brain may come through the hole in the skull. Sometimes it's a part of membranes that cover the brain and the spinal cord. Manganese and cerebrospinal fluid also come through the hole in the skull. Normally, baby brain and spinal cord, central nervous system, develop inside the structure called the neural tube. When the neural tube does not close a normal way, part of the brain may stick outside the neural tube. Either skin or thin membranes cover the part of the brain that is outside the skull. Doctors call this covering a sac. The devastated couple from Accrington, Lancashire, were recommended a termination, with the doctor insisting it would be unlikely the baby would survive the pregnancy. Refusing to give up her unborn daughter, the pair continued with the pregnancy, with their daughter Alana being born by caesarean section on February 15, 2015, weighing 8 lb 5 oz. The youngster, now 3, was immediately rushed away to intensive care and underwent a grueling 7-hour operation to remove the external part of her brain at just 8 days old. Although allowed a home a week later, Alana's condition has left her severely disabled, with the youngest unable to walk, registered blind, and suffering seizures every few weeks. She even self-harms by cutting her face with her nails. Mrs. Donald said she may have her difficulties, but she's a miracle baby and we adore her. Speaking about discovering their daughter's condition, Miss Donald took out a assessment and said Mark and I were determined to give her a chance. The doctor said she would probably either die in my womb or shortly after she was born, but I would try for so long to have her that it just wasn't an option for me. I didn't want to be the one to end her life. The couple, who also have a 9-year-old called Emily, were told that if the infant had survived in the womb, she would almost definitely die shortly after birth. Miss Donald said, "It was touch and go throughout, but it was quite an easy pregnancy. We just had to wait and see." Determined to see the pregnancy through, the couple were referred from Burnley General to St. Mary's Hospital in Manchester, where a special team were on standby. Miss Donald said, "We had a plan in place that it would have a caesarean section, and the team would be ready to save her life. We wanted to do all we could to help her. It was so strange when she was born because she's never cried. They took her out and I could see her face, but because she didn't make a noise, we didn't know if she's dead or alive. They told us that she was breathing by herself, and it was such a relief. Once I heard that, I started to relax and prepare myself to go and meet her." A few hours later, the couples went to the neonatal intensive care and to meet their daughter for the first time. Speaking of the first time she saw Alana, Miss Donlon said, "I felt strange seeing her for the first time because to me she was so beautiful, but she did have this growth at the back of her head, and she couldn't move it." Initially, doctors planned to wait until Alana was older and stronger to remove the external brain. However, concerned it was getting bigger, they decided to operate. Miss Donlon said it was quite scary as they were removing some of her brain. "We were so pleased that she came through that and was doing so well." Amazingly, a week later, she was able to come home, which was fantastic. While Alana is able to live at home, she has been left severely disabled by her condition and the surgery. Miss Donlon said she needs full-time care and will for the rest of her life. She's registered blind, has significant brain damage, is physically and mentally disabled, and doesn't walk. She cannot sit up by herself, but has just learned to roll over. She started having seizures about 6 months ago, which happened very few weeks, but we are hoping that we will be able to get medication to bring them under control. One of the most difficult things for Miss Donald is that, for unknown reasons, Alana tries to harm herself by cutting her fist with her fingernails. Miss Donald said, "It can be really difficult because Alana doesn't understand. We place gloves over her hands to stop her, but she does still manage it, and we just have to watch her 24 hours. There have been times when her face has been covered in cuts. Now she's started special school, though, and she's doing well. She enjoys it, and she's a great to see her with the other children. She may have her difficulties, but she's a miracle baby and we adore her. We just do what we have to do. We are a family and we love her. Her sister Emily loves playing with her too."